Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Words of Wisdom. This is relationship specific. This is about choosing yourself, a journey of self-love. You know what I've realized? When someone really chooses themselves in life, it's never a big dramatic moment. It's actually way quieter than that. Choosing yourself is usually just a small, steady decision you make over and over again. Some days you're really aware of it. Other days it happens in the background. It could be daily, moment by moment. Sometimes it's literally just you catching yourself and thinking, why am I doing this to myself? It's choosing to stop abandoning your own needs just to keep the peace. It's realizing how often you've been the one adjusting, accommodating, staying quiet, or letting things slide so everyone else can stay comfortable. It's noticing how small you've made yourself in rooms you were never meant to shrink in. And it's deciding that you don't want to keep carrying pain that was never meant to be permanent. And here's the part that gets twisted for a lot of people. Choosing yourself is not selfish, even though it can feel like it at first. Especially if you've been conditioned to put everyone else first. If you were praised for being low maintenance, understanding, strong, or easygoing. If your worth was tied to how much you could tolerate. So when you finally choose yourself, it can feel wrong, like you're doing something bad, like you're breaking some invisible rule. But choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's self-respect, finally stepping forward and saying, okay, I'll take it from here. It's you, maybe for the first time, quietly admitting you matter too. And you do, more than you know. And if I'm being completely honest with you, it doesn't feel empowering at first. It doesn't feel freeing or exciting or like some big victory. A lot of the time, it just feels unsettling because letting go of hurt, deception, and old wounds usually means letting go of versions of yourself you once needed just to survive. The version of you that tolerated way too much. The version of you that stayed quiet because speaking up felt risky. The version of you that overgave, overexplained, overextended because you were afraid that if you stopped, people would leave. And I understand that because I was there. Those versions of you weren't weak. They were adaptive. They protected you when you didn't have better tools. So releasing them can feel like grief. You might grieve relationships that don't survive your growth. You might grieve the version of yourself that didn't know better yet. You might grieve years you spent accepting less than you deserved simply because you didn't know how to ask for more. And there's this strange thing that shows up in the middle of all of that. A kind of emptiness, a quiet space where pain used to live. And if pain is what you've always known, that emptiness can feel terrifying, like something is missing, like you're doing something wrong. But that emptiness is not loss. It's room. Room for your nervous system to finally calm down, to breathe. Room for your body to stop bracing for the next disappointment. Room for your mind to stop waiting for betrayal. And when you start letting go of real hurt, okay, I'm talking real hurt, the kind that lives in your chest, your shoulders, your stomach, your mind, something subtle begins to happen. Your nervous system starts to exhale. It starts to breathe. It starts to relax. You are not constantly on edge anymore. You're not always scanning for what might go wrong. Life gets quieter on the inside. And when life gets quieter on the inside, things get clearer. You stop making decisions purely out of fear. You stop filtering everything through the need for approval. You stop asking, will this make them stay? And instead, you start asking a different question, one that changes everything. Does this honor me? That one shift alone rewires so much, because when deception falls away, both the lies other people told you and the lies you told yourself, clarity shows up. And clarity can hurt. It really can. Because you start seeing people as they actually are, not as who you hoped they'd be. And you start seeing yourself as you actually are, not as who you were conditioned to be. And yeah, that can sting. But clarity is still a gift, because clarity stops cycles. It stops you from chasing potential. It stops you from negotiating with misalignment. It stops you from staying in situations that keep showing you the same truth over and over again. You stop hoping something will magically change, and you start recognizing when something has already been telling you the truth the whole time. Okay? And slowly, not in loud ways and not all at once, but slowly, life starts to bless you in ways that feel steady, real, sustainable, long-term, because you gain peace. Not the fragile kind of peace that only exists when everything is going perfectly, but a grounded peace that comes from trusting yourself. And when things feel uncertain, you know this one thing: you will not abandon yourself again. And that trust becomes an inner home, something solid you can come back to when everything else feels unstable. You start attracting healthier relationships, not because you're trying harder, but because your standards have changed. When you choose yourself, you naturally stop resonating with chaos, manipulation, and emotional unavailability. People will fall away, and that can hurt, even when you know it's necessary. But the people who arrive will meet you with honesty, respect, and mutual effort. Love becomes safer, not perfect, safer, because it's no longer rooted in self-betrayal. And something else happens too. You get your energy back, and a lot of it. Carrying resentment, grief, and unspoken pain is exhausting. Letting it go does not make you weak. It gives your life force back to you. Creativity comes back. Motivation starts to return. You feel more alive, not because life is perfect, but because you're actually present in it again. Life also starts blessing you with alignment. Things that once felt forced begin to flow more naturally. You start saying no without guilt. You say yes without fear. Work, purpose, and passion start to feel like expressions of who you are instead of roles you're performing. You build emotional resilience. Choosing yourself doesn't mean life stops hurting. It means pain no longer defines you. When challenges show up, you meet them with compassion instead of self-blame. You recover faster, not because you're numb, but because you don't turn pain into proof that something is wrong with you. And honestly, one of the greatest blessings is self-connection. You start hearing your intuition again. You trust your feelings. You stop needing constant validation because you've become someone you can rely on, you can trust, and you love. There's a quiet pride in that, not ego, just a steady knowing that you chose growth over bitterness, truth over comfort, and healing over what was familiar. Over time, life meets you differently because you meet yourself differently. You stop chasing what once ran from you. You stop begging for love. You start embodying it. Life doesn't promise ease, but it offers something better: authenticity, peace, and a deep sense of being at home within yourself. Choosing yourself doesn't make life smaller. It makes it honest. And honesty is where real blessings live. You also stop rushing time. You stop feeling like you have to catch up. You realize healing isn't linear and rest isn't failure. You let life unfold instead of forcing outcomes, living moment by moment. And somehow, timing starts working with you instead of against you. You become more discerning, not colder. Your heart stays open, but your boundaries get clearer. You learn that compassion doesn't require self-sacrifice. Forgiveness does not require re-entry. That wisdom does not come from bitterness. It comes from experience. Your body starts remembering what safety feels like. Laughter feels lighter. Stillness feels nourishing instead of lonely. Joy stops feeling like something you have to earn. It starts feeling allowed. Success changes too. It becomes less about being chosen and more about choosing wisely. Less about validation and more about fulfillment. You start valuing depth over attention, meaning over momentum, and peace over applause. You'll still have moments of doubt. Healing doesn't erase memory, but when those moments come, you meet them gently. You're not afraid of falling apart anymore because you trust your ability to rebuild. This time, you rebuild with honesty, patience, and self-love. Your emotions become honest. You don't suppress them, and you don't drown in them either. They become messengers, not enemies. Even your past softens. The memories lose their sharp edges. You don't romanticize the pain. You don't minimize it either. You integrate it. Your story becomes wisdom instead of a wound. Your identity stabilizes. You're no longer defined by who hurt you or who left. You're defined by how you rose, by how you chose yourself even when it was lonely. And slowly, you realize something really profound. Choosing yourself didn't isolate you. It refined your life. Your circle might be smaller. Your days might be quieter, but your life is fuller. Eventually, healing stops being something you're working on. It becomes how you live, how you speak to yourself, how you rest, how you walk away when something costs too much of your spirit. And one day, almost without noticing, you realize this. You're not chasing peace anymore. You're not proving your worth anymore. You're not surviving your life anymore. You are living it. Rooted, awake, self-chosen. And that's when it hits you. You were never broken, just buried. And when you chose yourself, you didn't become someone new. You came home. Hey guys, I hope this helped someone out there. I have got to get to work. Okay? If this touched you, please share it with someone who might need it. Care, wisdom, and love travel farther than we think. And if this resonated with you, please like and subscribe, because that really does help this message reach the people it's meant for and who need it the most. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for choosing yourself. I love you all. Be blessed.